Well. Ah, good news and bad news from last week. The good news is I actually got a lot of views for my divisional round predictions, which I truly do appreciate. The bad news, y'all picked the week where I went 1-3 and humiliated myself in the predictions. So I have mixed feelings about it. But hey, we got 3 games left, and we finally get to determine who wins this chaotic season. Hey there, peeps, Detective Boo Boo here. Oh boy, last week was not a good week for me. 1-3. I only got the Seahawks game right where they blew out San Francisco. And well, the every single other game, I probably could have gone either way except for this one. The Patriots just steamrolled the Texans. However, the Bills were like a mistake away from potentially winning that game, and the Bears nearly came back and won. So don't exactly harp on me too much. I just ended up losing like two 50-50s, and then I completely bombed one of the games and nailed the other one. So it doesn't look as bad as it was, but it doesn't show up in my overall standings. Which, speaking of which, let me go to the preview that now. I went 1-3 last week, bringing my total playoff predictions of the pick'ems to 5-5. Yeah, definitely last season was a lot better for that. Bringing my overall record for the entire season to 173, 108 and 1. Meaning we got two more games this week, and then we get 2 weeks in time to predict the Super Bowl. I'll be going through the rest of the bracket at this point. So, especially since it's not going to be very long of a stream, we might as well hop right into it. Starting off in just less than an hour. The AFC Championship game. You got the New England Patriots, the two-seeded Patriots going to visit the one-seeded Denver Broncos. Uh, a tale of ups and downs for the Broncos, but let's start with the Patriots. Man, they took advantage of a very, very flawed game from CJ Stroud, who threw 4 picks the entire game. And Drake May had himself a pretty good day. 179 total yards through the air, 3 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, but it didn't matter when CJ Stroud was throwing them right back to him. So you gotta take advantage of whenever you can. The Patriots, that defense looked really good that day, holding down CJ Stroud, took advantage of every single mistake he made, and the Patriots offense was able to cash in on some of those, which was enough considering that the Texans offense was not playing up to par in that game. The Patriots, you could argue that they had a pretty easy way here, facing a not so great LA opponent and then getting lucky with a CJ Stroud dumpster fire. But you got to give credit to where it's due for the Patriots this season. They have played very well and have won the games that they should be winning, which is something that any Super Bowl caliber team has to have. And in this case, they probably don't get a more favorable matchup than the one that they get this week. Yes, it is on the road. Yes, it is against a team that also only lost 3 games this season and has somehow pulled magic out of them this season. But still, it's a favorable matchup considering what the circumstances for the Broncos are. Denver, oh boy, they ended up going to overtime against the Bills. May have gotten lucky in terms of like, was that a pick? Was that not? Who knows? But still, it was a really, really good game for the Denver Broncos throughout. Unfortunately for them, the victory came at a cost. A an ankle injury that sidelines their starting QB for the rest of the postseason, which really hurts. You never want to see that through anyone, but it's it's something that teams are gonna have to deal with sometimes. And while it sucks, it happens at this point in time where we were robbed of a Drake May versus Bo Nix matchup in the AFC Championship game. It does go to fruition to say that, hey, maybe Jared Stidham may have a chance. Who knows? Because the thing is, Denver has been relying a lot on their defense this season. One of the top units in the league. Yes, I know New England just took care of business against the Texans, but as long as Jared Stidham doesn't do what the Texans did or what CJ Stroud did against the Patriots last week, this should be a competitive game still. Just because maybe it's about the time where Bo Nix like does not have a good game. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe Jared Stidham just has to play competently to give the Broncos a chance. That's all he has to do. Just limit the mistakes, limit trying to be a hero and whatnot. And the Broncos do have a legit shot of winning this game. However, the Patriots defense is no joke either, so he's going to have to make a few plays to really get them over the edge of this incredibly difficult situation for Denver. And the Patriots, I hate to say it, but it looks like they're the clear favorites to win this game. I don't know what the betting line is, but I can imagine New England's the favorite here. Going to Denver, though, you know about the altitude and whatnot, may be affecting New England a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be enough to stop New England overall. I do have the Patriots winning this game. However, it is definitely going to be a bit closer of a game than people would think. I don't think New England's blowing out Denver. I really don't think. The defense is too good on the Denver side to really let New England have a field day on the offense. However, I don't think Denver's offense is going to be enough. I'll be honest, even with Bo Nix, I'm not sure if they would have enough. Maybe I would have picked Denver if they had Bo Nix. Who knows? As just a gut pick. But with Jared Stidham, I just cannot really see him pulling it out. However, the defense is what Denver's really relied on, like I said. Um, and honestly, I think that's gonna be enough to make it at least a close game. If Denver pulls this out, though, I'll be really shocked. And yeah, but on the flip side, New England, they definitely have a top five offense and top 10, I believe, defense, if not five, for a reason. And yes, while they did go through a pretty damn easy schedule this season, um, the Patriots should be getting to the Super Bowl through this. So as much as I hate to say it, the AFC is going to be run by New England once again. The Patriots take down Denver and advance to Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara. But who is their opponent going to be, if my prediction holds up? That's where the 5:30 kickoff comes in. You got in the NFC Championship game, the 5-seeded Los Angeles Rams taking on the 1-seeded Seattle Seahawks. Oh boy, this is a tale of two different games that played out for how these teams got here. The Rams, let's start with them. Oh boy, you let Caleb Williams get them back into the game, forcing overtime. However, a crucial Caleb Williams pick, just like in the Denver game, really allowed Matthew Stafford to get the ball back, and he was able to drive down and have the Rams kick the game-winning field goal to send this team to the championship game. The Rams, it's a frustrating team to watch. On paper, they're probably the most talented team in this entire playoff, hands down. But the way they've been playing so far, you had a close game against Carolina, nearly let them come back. You did let the Bears come back and force overtime, but ended up taking advantage of a Caleb Williams mistake. You can't really do that against Seattle, especially the way that they manhandled San Francisco last week. I know the 49ers were injured. I did think that would come back to haunt them, but I don't think anyone could have imagined the Seahawks just routing the 49ers 41-6. That's a beatdown. And the Seahawks, the defense is just truly, truly on another level. I think even better than Denver's this year and Houston's. So, and New England's. So give me it's going to be a really tight game. These two teams have played each other twice, with each team the home team winning both times. LA here's the thing though in both games. LA won because Sam Darnold threw 4 picks. And it was a close win. The Rams probably should have blown them out considering how often Seattle was giving them the ball. The Seahawks won because LA collapsed in the second half, and Matthew Stafford was not on in that game. So it seems like the team that's gonna win this game is the team that's gonna shoot itself in the foot more. Because if these two teams play each other at the best, it may come down to just talent, and that's where I'd give it the Rams. However, the Rams have not been playing at 100% this entire postseason. If they need if there's a way they win this game, they have to play solid, perfect football against this team, against the Seattle defense, especially on the offensive side of the ball, because Seattle will take advantage of every single mistake LA makes. As for the Seahawks, Darnold has been playing pretty damn well overall. It was just one game. However, the Seahawks defense can do a lot. But if Darnold just limits how often he makes mistakes, missed passes, turnovers, the Seahawks will be fine. Especially the way the Rams have been playing up to this point, because it is going to be a very, very interesting game. I do think I gotta give it to Seattle though, just because this team is riding on a high. They're still have the of the four teams they've won the most. They've been the hottest, and the Rams in the second half of the year have just not played up to par of what they could be. They did choke away the NFC West, and I would not be surprised if they choked away this game. So, despite the Rams clearly being the more talented team on paper, it doesn't matter when it comes down to the gridiron. And that's where I think Seattle is really going to thrive. At home, with the 12th man, that place is going to be loud as hell. So, give me Seattle in a very tight game. It's going to be a really good game in Lumen Field. And then, of course, this bracket would not be complete if I didn't predict a Super Bowl winner. In Santa Clara, you have probably the best defense in the. What am I saying? Probably. It's certified best defense in the entire league against probably one of the most high flying offenses in the league in New England. So it's gonna be a really interesting game. The game, let me make sure I have my dates right, is gonna be February 8th at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. It is going to be a really, really good game. Um, for about a few minutes. I don't know, because the thing is, I had like in my earlier bracket predictions, I had Jacksonville taking down everyone in the AFC and then getting routed in the Super Bowl. This Seattle team just feels like it's on its way to really, really um big heights. And out of probably the Jaguars or Bills are probably the teams I like most in the AFC, and obviously they're both out at this point. So it is not a easy. I don't like any of the AFC teams winning this year. I'll be honest, because the NFC it just looks stacked. Whoever wins this game between the Rams and Seahawks, I do think wins the Super Bowl, just because it's a lot closer to where they're at even if you draw Denver, and then um, both of these teams are definitely more talented in my opinion than New England and Denver are, especially with Denver now losing their quarterback, and the Patriots they may finally get exposed for having such a weak schedule this year. I think this is where that schedule finally comes back to haunt them. And in this game between the Seahawks and Patriots, I think the keys to this game, if it does match up this way, the Seahawks, you got to take advantage of Drake May and the turnovers. And he's not going to make a whole lot of them, but if you can get pressure to him, he's going to make mistakes. And that's where the secondary can really come into play. The Patriots, on the offensive side of the ball, just don't make those mistakes. Let Drake May make the passes he has to. And yeah, take it. Try to expose the Seattle defense, which is going to be really hard to do. And then on the other side of the ball, the Patriots defense just needs to hold down Sam Darnold. And yeah, it's just going to be, can Sam Darnold make a lot of mistakes? Which I really don't think the way he's been playing this so far, he has. And as for the Seahawks, on the offensive side of the ball, you're going to have to get the run game going. and with Kenneth Walker as well. So, oh yeah, and one last thing. Please run the damn ball on the 1 yard line, Seattle. If you do that, you're winning the Super Bowl. I have the Seattle Seahawks taking down the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. And yeah, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And as for the offseason, it cannot come soon enough. I really just want to move on from this season. It has been a dumpster fire for me. But what are your predictions for the conference championship weekends? Is Denver going to shock New England? Or is New England going to handle them pretty damn easily? Is Seattle going to rout LA like they did to San Francisco? Or are the Rams actually going to be the one team that takes down Seattle this season? Let me know. Um, and yeah, in just a few hours' time, we'll know who our matchup is for San Francisco. It's either going to be this matchup, the Seahawks and Patriots, the Seahawks and Broncos, a rematch of Super Bowl 48. This one's a rematch of 49. Or you'll have the Patriots against the Rams, a rematch of Super Bowl 53. Or you'll have a really unique matchup, the Rams against the Broncos. Another fun fact before I go, all four of these teams have won a Super Bowl within the last 15 years. So it's not entirely new teams, but it's new enough. But anyways, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I might be live later today for Uno. I'll have to talk with some friends about it. But be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to share the channel around. It helps me grow. We've gotten to 200 subs now. And let's get on the road to 250. And hopefully Uno will help out with that. But with that being said, see you later, peeps. Enjoy championship weekend. Thanks for watching.